So just like many others, Forsaken has renewed my interest in Destiny. I've really gotten back into it the past month or two, and I've been loving the game. My highlight, of course, is getting the Not Forgotten, which this video is going to be about, and general tips on how to get it. Now, this isn't going to be like tips on how to play the game mechanically to get up to Legend. This is assuming that you already are good enough to play competently. This is showing you how to find a team and how to get into a good team and hold it together so you can get all the way up to Legend. So, again, I'm not going to tell you how to play the meta. I'm not going to tell you use grenade launchers, shotguns, and play Nova Warp. You know, any other guide can tell you that. This is coming at you from a perspective of someone who went through solo LFG, found groups, and just jumped from group to group until I got to Legend. So I'm going to tell you exactly how I did that, and hopefully you can replicate it and do the same thing and get the gun. So, step one, find an LFG group. So whatever your preferred LFG is, mine is Destiny 2 PC LFG. I did do this on PC. However, there is a console Discord group called Destiny 2 LFG. Just look that up. I'm sure you'll find it. Join in. Usually they're public Discords, so you have no problem finding a group. And you just get in there and start posting on their LFG tab. So in Destiny 2 PC LFG, on the left side, you're going to see Crucible LFG. You're just going to start typing in there, I'm a blank, 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 2600 or 1600 Glory Titan running this class, and depending on what people want in their group, they will invite you. So after you get into the first group, you're not really going to be focusing on winning. What I want you to do when you get into that first group is focus on networking. You're probably going to jump from group to group. You're probably not going to win. You may lose a few games. You may have some wins sprinkled in here or there, but that's not the point of this first step. You want to network. You want to find other good players, because there are a lot of good players in this game and a lot of good players at lower ranks. They're just in similar positions as you. So what you're going to want to do first and foremost, start adding as many people as possible, play with a ton of people. I did this over a couple of days in the afternoons after work, played with dozens and dozens of groups and started adding people. And the people I thought were exceptional, people who could clutch up, people who didn't choke kills, people who made huge plays and were able to be depended on, those are the people I added. Now you want to be very careful. You don't just want to join people who have high KDs. Because remember, there are a lot of people who they'll play with a good group and then they just sit there on heavy all day long. They will just pick up grenade launcher ammo every time, pad their KD, and think they're the greatest players on the planet. Avoid these players. More often than not, as from what I've experienced, they're super toxic, and if they start losing, they'll probably back out after one game. So anyone who does that, obviously you want to avoid them. You want to pick up other players who are mechanically good at the game, who know what they're doing. When they die, they call out, they're not complaining, and they're not people who just use heavy the entire game to perform well. They can drop a 2, 3, 4.0 KD with just a primary and a shotgun, So try to find players who are beyond the others that you're playing with. Eventually you start networking. You'll play with them. They'll play with you. And good players generally have good friends. Maybe they're just not always on at the same time, so they go on LFG just to, fill a position. And you start adding more and more people. And good people stick together. Like I said, they'll invite people in, they'll invite you to their groups, and that's just more people to put on your friends list, more options when you're trying to climb up in ranks. Now, once you have a good group of friends, you can start putting together lobbies where you can climb pretty darn easily, a few hundred points here, 300, 400, 500 points a night there. You'll probably hit a wall. What I mean by this, the same group you went from 1500 to 2600 with is probably not the same group you'll be able to go from 3,500 to 5,450 with. Which, just to clear something up, Legend rank is 5,450, not 5,500. 5,500 is just the cap. So as long as you get to 5,450, you're good. Anyway, where was I? So the first group you play with may not be the group that you end with. Now the reason is, as you start moving up in ranks, you're going to start playing more and more really good players. I think once I started hitting around 3,000 is when I started seeing people in I Am and False Hope. And I saw one guy from KFO, which is Kick from Orbit, which are pretty good clans. I don't know how popular they are on PC, but I remember a lot of them from back in PS4 days, and they were really, really good. And when I played against them, they were super sweaty games. Most of them, we lost, I'm not even going to lie. But yeah, that's the reason why you'll have a lot more trouble later on, is because the higher up you go, of course, it is glory-based matchmaking. Most of the time, you'll play against better players. So don't be afraid to cycle people out. I've gotten dropped from groups. I've dropped people from groups. You're just going to want to make sure that, you know, you're performing as well as you can and just staying on the good side of the best players, because they're the ones who are going to help you out the most and you're going to help them the most. My big break came when I hit about 3,500. Once I got to about 3,500, I was able to join in groups with much better players. And then it was just like starting the process over again. You start sifting through. Of course, you have to drop a lot less people, because if they can get up that high, they're probably pretty decent. And that's it. I'd say once you're able to find a group that can comfortably compete. Once you find a group that can comfortably compete at around 4,000, then you're good to go. That group can go to Legend easily. Have a bad game here or there, but just stick with it. You guys will get there eventually. Another thing, too, is switching servers. At least this is specifically to PC. If you're on NA servers at 5 in the morning, you're probably not going to find the game. You're probably going to get error coded while you're still matchmaking. So, of course, just switch servers. If it's 5 in the morning, hit up EU. And, you know, if you want to, you can go to Asia servers. A lot of people go to Asia servers, but, you know, there are a lot of recovs over there. I'm not even going to lie. And Asia is notorious for being really easy. But as time has gone on, let me tell you, there are some streamers who just prowl in Asia just doing recoveries, and you'll have some pretty tough games there too, especially since the player base over there on that server is so much smaller. You're going to have a hard time avoiding them. So best bet, NA, stick to EU, just depending on what time of the day you're going to want to cycle through those. And that's it. As long as you're mechanically good at the game, you know what you're doing, you're able to call out instead of complain, you're able to control heavy ammo, and you're able to play your class and counter when you can, you'll make it. You'll eventually make it. It took me about 4 days. I think I was at 1,500 when I first started, like to really start to grind it. I was about 1,500. Started on a Thursday after work, found a couple of good players, stuck with them through Friday. Starting Saturday, played with them majority of the day. And, you know, people started getting off, dropped a few people, picked up another group, played all night Saturday night, and on Sunday kept that group all the way up to Legend. Except for the last game. We had some people leave because one guy got kicked. I got dropped from a match. I was DDoSed or something. I have no clue. And we had to play more games, so I had to find a pickup group to help me finish my last 3 games to get the gun. Brutal. Brutal. I think I have that gameplay saved, but I'm not too sure. Anyway, that's it for the video today, guys. Just remember, always best to do it with the 4-stack. If you're a Crucible god, you can try to do it solo, but I highly don't recommend that. Thank you all for watching. It's good to be back, and I'll see you again soon. Thank you.